Unless I'm wrong, and I've built a career on being wrong, this might be the largest in-person gathering of adult Reform Jews, with the exception of professional groups, that has gathered in one place since 2020. 300 of us. It has been a blessing of a day and a wonderful experience to share with all of you a vision of a re-energized Reform Judaism. We have been in the business today of demarcating our ideological lines, of generating ideas. Every modern Jewish movement began with big ideas and then was strengthened with relationships and action. And the large ideas that have animated us today have focused largely on almost one topic, Am Yisrael, and then again, Medinat Yisrael. We have begun a conversation today, a large, open conversation about a methodology and a habit of mind that would restore Jewish peoplehood to a central place in our Reform ideology. Not a mere folk Judaism, not mere ethnic nostalgia, but peoplehood as the flesh and bone of what we do. Our ideas are important and they are central. What brought us here could be summed up, I believe, in a wordle that was created. Am I allowed to read this, by the way? What's that? No spoilers? Okay, fine. I was very moved by this. They asked the participants, what are the most significant challenges facing North American liberal Jewry as we imagine the Jewish world in 2043? I pray that this will not depress us, but that it will energize us. I'm reading it verbatim, without editing. Weak national institutions, our hybrid world, feeling disconnected, climate change, politicization of Israel, meaningful worship, affiliation, caring about Israel, teen engagement, struggling youth programs, mediocre youth programs, intermarriage, community, following Judaism, anti-Semitism, unity, time, Jewish literacy, God, apathy, an aging infrastructure, lack of engagement, funding, too many buildings, viability, self-centeredness, our institutions, managing mergers, spiritual literacy. You get the picture. But the picture is made brighter, I think, friends, by our presence here and our ability to engage in conversations that today focused on anti-Semitism, on anti-Zionism, on the politics and the mechanics of identity formation, the perils of self-erasure in various spaces in which we find ourselves. Those were important conversations, and they will lead to concrete actions. I reflect on the fact that when we pray the Kedusha in the morning, that we rise on our toes for Kadosh, 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 soaring towards the heavens, but we come down to earth again. We have soared into the heavens, but we will once again come down to earth. And let me mention, by the way, that earthbound journey is a bookish journey, and I would instruct everyone, encourage everyone, inspire everyone to be sure to visit the JPS and Behrman House displays at the back of the sanctuary, because everyone needs more books. This is who we are. These are the ideas that animate us. And it really has been a gift for me to be part of this planning process, but more than that, to say something that must be said. Every single one of you is a very busy person. Our time is limited, our funds are limited. That you chose to put your faith in us, in this program, in this stream, and to take several days off from insane schedules, business, work, parenting, partnerships, and to be with us, we do not take this for granted. This is sacred. There was obviously a pent-up hunger for us to be together and to share ideas. And we did so in an open, non-judgmental, non-hostile, but mostly intellectually curious way. I would end with 3 texts very quickly, 2 of them by people named Oz, 2 Israelis. In his song, Tefillat HaChiloni, the prayer of the secular, the Israeli rock musician Kobi Oz looks at various Jewish religious communities and he asks hard questions about them. He looks at a Reform Jew and he asks himself, does this Reform Jew have a different book, or is it simply a book with a brand new cover? We ask ourselves, is this a new book? Is there a new cover? Or are we now just simply and elegantly working on the binding? And then there is my best definition of Reform Judaism from another person named Oz, the late, lamented, the very much missed Israeli author and public intellectual Amos Oz. I've used this so many times when I've preached. This might be the last time I say it publicly, at least from this pulpit. We have inherited a household of furniture from the Jewish past. We must now decide what goes into the living room and what goes into the attic. I love that. But one of the things I've come to understand is that the act of furniture inheritance might be a one-time occurrence, but the act of furniture rearranging is perpetual. What one generation consigned to the attic, kashrut, Shabbat, Zionism, peoplehood, it is entirely possible that a subsequent generation might retrieve it from the attic and put it into the living room. And if you ask me what we will be doing to move forward, a hopeful yet cautionary statement. In an ancient midrash that I recently invented, some caterpillars on a sidewalk are talking to each other and they engage in an existential discussion. One caterpillar says to the other, "So what do you think happens?" Second caterpillar says, what do you mean, what happens? When this is over, what happens? Well, I've been told that sometimes someone will come and just simply step on us and it's done. No, there's got to be more than that. What happens? What's next? With that, a beautiful butterfly floats by and says to the caterpillars, I got to tell you guys, this is great. What happens is, well, look at me. I get to fly all over the world. I'm gorgeous. This is what will happen to you. So the caterpillars say, this sounds fantastic. Well, can you tell us the process? He says, yes, very simple. You go to sleep, you descend into goo, and then you emerge, like me. The caterpillars give each other high fives. They say, this is fantastic. The butterfly says, it is. But there's one thing I have to remind you. There will be goo. It's messy. The best thing we can hope for is a messy Reform Judaism. To put the messy back in the messianic. to indulge and engage in a messy, thick, noisy, but loving conversation about what our future will be. The last thing I want to say is something that must not go unsaid. To the leaders of our movement and our movement professionals who have taken time out of their schedules to be here, your time is valuable too. You are our partners, our friends, our classmates. That you are walking with us on this journey is not only a holy step, we couldn't imagine doing this without you. Thank you for being here. And to all of you, thank you for being here.